reconciliation. We will post minutes according to the Brown Act. We'll make sure all the minutes are posted accordingly, and those are the things that we are able to do. According to the Brown Act, minutes must be posted 72 hours in advance, not only here at the site, but also on the website. We will be in charge of that for you. We do ask that all members attend and that you're on time, and that if there for some reason you cannot attend a meeting, that you would definitely let the chairperson know that, because a quorum is very important. So at the next board meeting, you as members will determine what your quorum will be. And so in order to hold a meeting, you will have to have that number of people present before a meeting can go forward. So it's very helpful for the president to know if you all can't be in attendance, so that they can count and know if there's enough people that will be present in order to hold a meeting on at a particular time. All these things we'll continue to go over with you, but that's why it's important, again, for you to just notify the board chair if you will not be in attendance. Again, if you just joined us, as a school, we're asking you to meet at least twice this year. And if you choose to meet more often, that is 100% up to this council. So I do want to say some of the things you'll hear us say over and over again. We'll talk about the Brown Act, but I'm going to talk about two things with regards to the Brown Act. All of your meetings must be agendized. And if you have a number of you together, it could constitute a quorum. And if you talk about school site council stuff and you haven't agendized it, you're now in violation of the Brown Act. It's kind of complicated. We'll go over that again with you once you decide what that quorum is. If the 5 of you are ever together, then you just can't talk school business. I'm just throwing it out there, but we'll talk about that. So quorums are important. Agendizing the meetings are important. And all meeting agendas have to go up 72 hours in advance, and we're here to help you with that. That's something that we do every month with our own board meetings. And so, yeah, this is a very important council, and it's part of our compliance as a school, as a Title I school, and we really appreciate your time and attention. And we just need to make sure we stay compliant within the Brown Act, and it's going to be great. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. So here is our meeting agenda. And so if you're the board secretary, these are the things. So we'll create the agenda for you. You all will tell us what you want on the agenda. Marilyn will help you with this. And again, it'll be posted. So you'll see on the first page here, it's when the meeting starts, the date of the meeting, the link to the meeting, etc. Our mission statement, our program, agendas, and then there's also some documentation or information here with regards to the fact that we're holding meetings now on Zoom, because according to the Brown Act, meetings had to be held in person, but because of COVID, that's been waived. And so we want to make sure that everyone's aware of that, and that there's some information here with regards to wanting to public comment deadline for submission with regards to what is that, if you want to attend by phone. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and on page 5, so again, this is the secretary and president, we're going to go ahead, Marcus, Mr. Finley and I are doing this today. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order at 6:05 p.m. So Marcus is going to indicate here, Marcus at 2.1, so cut and paste and put it where it says meeting is called to order at, there you go. Now at each meeting, you'll have an administrator. It'll be either myself, Mr. Finley, or Ms. Navarro. So we'll just type in their name here. So today it's myself. And then a classified staff. This is a vacancy we're trying to fill. Today, Marilyn will be filling in. And the rest of you, we'll do a roll call to see who's here. So starting off with myself, Dr. Renti, present. When I call your name, just say present. If we don't hear from you, we'll indicate that you're absent. Marilyn De La Cruz.
Present.
And then Mr. Finley, if you can finish calling the names.
Genevieve Wilkinson,
Present.
Alvin Oseguera,
Present.
Carla Sanchez,
Present.
John, how do you pronounce your last name? John, are you here?
Sorry, yes, I am.
Okay, Jennifer Grob.
Present.
Apologies.
John, how do you
Kearney.
pronounce your last? Kearney. Mhm.
Okay. Jennifer Hamilton,
Present.
Brent McIntosh,
Present.
and Delfino Marillo.
Present.
And
Welcome, everyone.
do we have any guests on the call today?
Okay, so hold on. So then we're moving on to item 3, introduction of guests. There you go, Mr. Finley. Any guest?
That will be me.
Mhm.
Xochitl Avila.
Perfect. Sochi, how do you spell your name, your first name? Oh, Finley has it.
Okay.
Do we have,
Not I. It's TL.
you got it. Just take the I out. Your fingers don't want to work.
Okay.
Do we have any other guests on the call? Anyone else? All right. Hearing none, moving on. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so we're going to move on to item number 4, review and approval of the agenda. So do we have a motion to approve the agenda? Now here's where anyone that's a member can motion. You just say I motion. And if I ask for a second, you just say I second, and then we will open it up for comments.
Sorry, I motion to approve the agenda.
All right, who's that?
Delfino Murillo.
All right, so you can actually just put DM if you'd like, Mr. Finley. You don't have to put the entire name. There you go.
I'll second to that.
All right. Any comments? Any revisions to the agenda? So if you can make a note, Mr. Finley, we did add tables. We added 2 tables under the nominee during action item. What is that? 8.1 and 8.2 in order to vote in the elected members. And then we added 3 additional tables in order to elect or select a school site council logo. Those will be the 2 agenda items or your 2 action items for today. Are there any other changes or revisions? All right, hearing none. Let's move to approve the agenda. Starting off, roll call. Administrator Dr. Renti, I motion. Oh, we already motioned. So in terms of approval, I agree to approve it.
Marilyn?
Aye.
Genevieve?
Aye.
Alvin?
Aye.
Carla?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Jennifer Grob?
Aye. Aye.
Jennifer Hamilton?
Aye.
Brett?
Aye.
And Delfino.
Aye.
Fantastic. Okay, Mr. Finley, motion carries. Good job. Okay, now item 5 is invitation to the public to address the board. Are there any public comments at this time? Public comments? All right, moving on to reports. 6.1, we do have a report, a REACH School Site Council training presentation by the REACH staff. We're going to go ahead and turn over the meeting to Ms. Navarro. Let me stop sharing so that they can share their screen. All right, take it away.
Okay, so let us go ahead and commence our student site council information PowerPoint so we can get you guys all engaged and ready to go so we can let you run as you go, right? So welcome to our Student Side Council meeting. Thank you all for being in attendance. We appreciate your time with us. We're gonna go ahead and, can you forward that please? We're gonna go ahead and get started. So what we want for everyone in attendance to take out of today's presentation are you knowing the primary purpose of the school site council. We want you to know the role of the student site council in developing the school plan for student achievement. We want you to know that there is a 7-step cycle of continuous improvement that the student site council engages in to develop a subset. We want you to know the required member composition and the selection requirements of the student site council. We want you to know the requirements and recommendations for meetings, meeting procedures, bylaws, and maintaining documentation. And so this is all that we will cover today with different staff members, and we hope that you have clarity around all of these recommendations as well as requirements. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get started in taking you through the LCFF and the LCAP, and Ms. Marilyn is going to go ahead and give us some information around those areas.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. This is Marilyn De La Cruz. I'll start off with the local control funding formula, which is most commonly known as LCFF. So just starting off really, so there are a lot of acronyms. So as you engage with us throughout this, the year and throughout this process, just know that we will be using acronyms, but of course, we're only using them because I guess in school lingo, it's just easier for us to communicate that way. And what I've learned in education is that there's different plans and different acronyms for things, but as you guys start getting used to all this content, it'll make more sense. So a couple years ago, the state of California's Department of Education changed the way in which public schools were funded, and they started using what is called the LCFF. So what the LCFF does, it is a formula that dictates how schools are funded. So what this process is allowing, it's allowing schools more of a say on how they are spending state funds. So as you can see here on the slide, there are 3 types of funds. We have what is called the base grant, supplemental grant, and the concentration grant. So basically the base grant deals with ADA, another acronym, which just stands for the average daily attendance. So that's why attendance is so important. It's something that we've always pushed for, even with distance learning in place right now. And for those that have been read or have been at LCAP meetings, attendance is also one of our goals. We definitely want to keep attendance up, not only because it's tied with the funding, but also because we know the more kids are in school, the more they're there to absorb the information and all the different activities and supports that we have on campus. So that's one. The next 2 are the supplemental grants and the concentration grants. So I know as you guys are looking, you're noticing that for supplemental grants, it's the formula deals with 20% adjustment based on what are called unduplicated percentage of English learners, low-income pupils, and foster youth. Just so you know, unduplicated just means these are groups of students which the state has identified and usually needing more support. So for these funds, what we definitely want to do is make sure that we're targeting these students. So of course we have overall campus goals, but in the end, we always want to make sure that we're looking at these student groups and identifying their needs and making sure that we are closing the achievement gap for them, just because data has shown that they are definitely in need of more support. One thing to note with the unduplicated students is that they are never do, in terms of how funding is allocated, they can never be placed in more than one group. So that's why they're called unduplicated. So then basically just the main takeaway with this is that we definitely, when we look at the funding, we're always making sure to find that alignment with the goals and services that we have and how we're directly affecting not only the overall school-wide goals, but also the students that are identified in these groups. Next, we have what is the LEA and the school level planning. For those of you that are aware, there are multiple I guess, plans that are in place. One of them is the Local Control and Accountability Plan, also commonly known as LCAP. And what this plan basically does, it's a 3-year plan that is reviewed annually. And what we're basically looking as what are the goals that we have identified for our student population? What are the actions and services and how the expenditures or the money is tied to those particular actions? As I had mentioned, we are looking at making sure there's always positive outcomes for our unduplicated groups. And then one of the things that we also list within the LCAP plan is that we're listing not only those supplemental and concentration funds, but we're also listing as well Title I funding, which is, I know Ms. Navarro will probably go into more detail, ESSA. So we're definitely listing all the different funding streams and how they're aligned with what we're trying to accomplish at the school. For example, coming up in winter time, we'll start sending out information to host LCAP workshops, which is another platform to get parents to participate. Let us know, that way they can let us know if they agree with our goals, do they suggest any modifications, or if they feel that we no longer should support a goal, or maybe we've already accomplished the goal and we could eliminate that. So it's a continuous process and a conversation that we have with stakeholders as yourself, parents, and any other committees that we have on campus. What we really want to do and present in these particular plans is how we're getting the conversation started with all the stakeholders. That way we can show that we're engaging everybody in the process. Next, we have the School Plan for Student Achievement, which is also commonly known as SIPSA. And this is just one of the other plans that does go into detail once again of the S and C funds, which are the supplemental and concentration. And again, we're just making the case for all the actions and services that we're providing here at the school and making that alignment between the goals, priorities, and needs of students. And next, we have the School Plan for Student Achievement. Thank you.
Alrighty, my name is Marcus Funley again, Assistant Principal of Reach, and I'm going to jump in with regards to the School Plan for Student Achievement. And we know that it's a lot of information coming at you, so we're going to try to consolidate it as much as we can to make it easy for you to understand. Why's my camera off? Okay, so the School Plan for Student Achievement is required if the school operates any program funded through the consolidated application, which is called CONAP. Also, if the LEA has determined that its school must complete a school plan, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. And finally, if the school has been identified for federal school improvement programs such as the CSI, TSI, or ATSI. So just now we spoke a little bit about CONAP. What is the consolidated application? It's simply an agreement between the LEA, the LEA's governing board, and the California State Board of Education on the use of categorical funds. So there are two parts. The first part is submitted in June, and the second part is submitted in February. So the California Department of Education uses the consolidated application to distribute these funds from various state and federal programs to the LEAs. And the LEAs, as you might have heard before, is our local educational agency. So SIPSA, as we call it, which is the School Plan for Student Achievement, is really required for a school-wide program schools. So here at Reach, we have to develop a school plan for student achievement, which we call the SIPSA, and it must include the following: a comprehensive needs assessment, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, and we must be able to identify the process for evaluating and monitoring the implementation of the school plan for student achievement and the process towards accomplishing the goals set forth in that particular plan. And we'll talk about that next. So when we think about the comprehensive needs assessment, is really it forms the basis of the school goals contained in the SIPSA. So we provide a plan and we explain in the plan everything that we are about to do. And the comprehensive needs assessment really gives us an idea of what we currently have and what is our priorities and what we should be going after. So the assessment must include an analysis of verifiable state data. It must be consistent with all state priorities as well. And the school, which is us, may include any data voluntarily developed to measure student outcomes. So when we think about that particular evaluation process, the process must be one where we evaluate and monitor the implementation of the school plan for student achievement. So we have to come up with a plan and we got to monitor to make sure that the plan is actually working towards the goals that we set forth in the particular plan that we had written initially. Our outcomes must be measurable, which means that we must have some sort of evaluating progress towards accomplishing the goals that we set. So we are going to say, this is where we are at right now, this is where we want to be, and we must have a particular progress monitoring tool to let us know whether we're on track to meet our goals. So the school may identify metrics for specific student groups as we go through that process, and we can also include baseline data associated with the metric or indicator. In a subsequent expected outcome column, we can identify the progress of that the school intends to make in the coming year. So when we think about the school plan for student achievement, again, like I had mentioned a little bit, we must have a goal. So we're going to set goals to improve student outcomes. So we need to think about where do we want our students to be and what is that goal we're going to set. And we need to make sure that this goal is attainable. We must be able to provide evidence-based strategies, actions, or services. So we are going to have goals, but we need to make sure that the strategies that we are using are evidence-based. And finally, we need to include proposed expenditures in our plan. So when we think about the goals that we're going to set to improve student outcomes, it must address the needs of the pupil group as identified through the comprehensive needs assessment. So when we go into that particular assessment, we must be able to ensure that the goal that we set address a particular need. The goal should be based upon the analysis of verifiable student data, including state indicators, which we mentioned earlier, and it may include voluntarily developed data that is voluntarily developed to measure pupil achievement. So we spoke about that a few slides ago. When we talk about evidence-based strategies, actions, or services, we must be able to describe the strategies and activities being provided to meet the particular goal that we described. We must also be able to describe how these strategies and activities will address the specific state and federal requirements. And finally, we must be able to say how the strategies and activities that are implemented, how they can help us achieve the identified goal, that might be grouped together. So we want to know what is evidence-based. So when we speak about evidence-based interventions, it's really interventions that are practices or programs that have evidence to show that they are effective, which is most important. So we don't just want to be doing things, we want to see that we are effective and we are choosing the best tools possible to get us the results that can help us close particular gaps or achieve the outcomes that we want to achieve. And this type of evidence described in the ESSA has generally been produced through formal studies and research. So we're going to spend a lot of time thinking about what those evidence-based practices and interventions might look like, and ensuring that at the end, we are able to gain some very solid data or information from our research. When we speak about number 3, the proposed expenditures based on the projected resource allocation from the LEA to address the findings of the needs assessment consistent with state priorities. So again, we are not just doing things on our own. We need to make sure that we are following mandates by the state. And as we dig into our needs assessment and our SIPSA plan, it must be a priority that we have looked into that is also considered a state priority as well. This should include identifying resources inequities, which may include a review of the LEA's budget, its LCAP, that Marilyn spoke a little bit about at the beginning, and the school level budgeting, if applicable. And then as we close off on this particular chapter with regards to the school plan for student achievement, there are 7, I wouldn't say simple steps, but there are 7 steps to developing the school plan for student achievement. And the first step starts with analyzing student achievement data. So we can't dig into something if we don't know where we are at. So we analyze the students' data, then we measure the effectiveness of current strategies. So we see what they are doing, and then we ask ourselves, based on the strategies that we are currently using, are those strategies effective? Then we identify goals and key improvements. So we know where we're at right now, what can we do to make it better? Then we define timelines, personnel, and expenditures. So we think about, now we know what we need to do to make it better. How fast can we get there? Or how slow can we get there? What is the timeline to make sure that we get the outcome that we need by taking into consideration explicitly how much time we would need truly to get there? And then step number 5, recommend the school plan for student achievement to the local governing board, and then we implement the plan. And finally, we monitor the implementation of that plan that we created. So that brings me to the end of our summary of the school plan for student achievement, and I'm going to pass it over now to Ms. Judy, who's going to talk to us a little bit about membership and selection.
All right, good evening, everybody. Hi. Have you guys ever heard of Elf on the Shelf? Yeah? Okay, this is Ms. Judy on the slides, okay? And I'm going to talk about membership and selection, okay? All right, first of all, half the members are principal or the designee, the classroom teachers, and the other school personnel. Classroom teachers make up a majority of this group. That's this group on the left-hand side. And half the members are parents and other community members. Teachers and school personnel. Teachers provide direct instruction for full-time employment. School personnel employed by the school who are not teachers. Persons who work directly and on the regular basis with the pupils, including administrative employees, pupil services, classified employees. Some examples would be like our school nurse, counselor, clerical staff, paraprofessionals, cafeteria staff, yard supervisor, or research teacher. Okay, members also include parents and community. Parents would be, includes all parents of students enrolled in our school. Parents employed at the school site may not serve in the parent role, but they may serve in the role of staff role. Parents employed by the district but not at the school site may serve as the capacity of a parent. Community members. They would be considered a person who is neither a school employee or nor a parent or a guardian of a pupil attending the participating schools that they serve. Their role should be defined by the bylaws of our district policy. Community members must be elected by parents. Community members cannot vote for the school site council's candidates. All right, here we go. We're going to talk about our fearless leader, the principal, but in our case, it's our executive director, Dr. Renty. The principal or the designee is a permanent, non-elected member of the school site council. In our case, it's our executive director who has equal vote rights with other members and may not veto the decisions of the school site council or change the approved plan. Our executive director sets the vision and provides the school context. Our executive director assesses and coordinates information and resources. And our executive director leads from the side. Additional benefits for our executive director / principal serving as school site principal, school site council, demonstrates the importance and the value of the decision-making role to determine strategies and actions to address the comprehensive needs and assessments. Message to the parents, the community about responsibilities, school site council SEPSA development. Ensures the direct alignment to the district's goals and priorities and adherence to compliance. Our executive director also actively builds relationships with our parents, community, and links the strategies to student learning. And we're almost done. The section of school site council members below are the only requirements specified by law. Members must be chosen by their peers. No seat may be reserved for any group or individual. Parent members may not be employees of the school. Additional guidance. Selection process should be a ballot or open meeting vote. Individuals may self-nominate, and a separate election must be held for school site council members. And it looks like I'm almost finished. Selection of the school site members, additional considerations, bylaws are very helpful for establishing this section process. How to fill unexpected vacancies and the length of terms, etc. Schools may elect non-voting alternate members who may be seated as voting members in the event of the midterm vacancy. And Ms. Judy is now done.
I'm trying to unmute myself. So let's talk procedures, bylaws, and documentation. So members, you may want to pick up a pen, but good news is you will have this to read through again and to really go through all of the requirements, the documentation that's encouraged and required as well. So let's go ahead and get started, Ms. Marilyn. So, per the Green Act and Education Code, these are the requirements that we must adhere to. So the meetings, the student site council meetings must be open to the public. They must, the public may address the council. The meeting notice must be posted 72 hours in advance. The notice must specify the date, the time, and the place. The council action limited by the posted agenda. Questions or information need not to be on the agenda. Violations require the item to be reconsidered at the next meeting after the public input. Because the school site council meetings are public, we should Make note of the fact that any materials made available to the council must be made available to any member of the public that requests it for the California Public Records Act. So whatever we go over during these meetings, they have to be made available to the public if people request it. Next slide. So let's talk student council bylaws. Although these are not required, the bylaws are definitely important for a well-functioning committee because of the fact that the bylaws define the responsibilities, the processes, and the policies that the committee will be addressing. They can address problems before they occur, and the bylaws should be reviewed regularly and updated to address any new issues that may arise. There are sample bylaws that can be found in the resource index. I want you to know that. So you don't have to create something from scratch. You can actually look that up. And
I mean, I do want to jump in at the next meeting. We do have a template that we'll share with the committee, with the council.
okay, great. I think you should go back one, Miss Marilyn. I'm still on bylaws. So thank you, Dr. Renty. So we will provide you with some resources here so you don't feel like you're starting everything from scratch. But it's definitely needed and encouraged because the bylaws really it makes it easy to think ahead as to what could be potential hiccups instead of waiting for a problem to arise. So, for example, some of the things that you could potentially include in some of the bylaws are, topics such as, what is the process if there's an unexpected vacancy, for example? Or what is the process if one member doesn't attend the meeting regularly? Or what is the process to address a disagreement? So here are some of the topics that you could be addressing ahead of time. So if these situations do arise, you have a solution already for them. Next slide. The rules of order provide meeting procedures. So the student side council meeting should be conducted using rules of order. There is a link there, the Roberts Institution specific. This is definitely an area of training. And I'm not sure, Ms. Marilyn, if you can click into that link. It's pretty lengthy. Don't be frightened by that. I just want you to take a look at that because it is available to dive into it. And this here is going to help you establish a set of norms of how to conduct the meetings. So the meetings are productive, they're fair, they're orderly, and it's going to help create a process to run the meetings just in an orderly manner. So again, this is one of the resources you have at your fingertips. And this is something that we can dive into training around, certain topics within this particular link that's been shared, the rules of order. And code of ethics, we can come out of that whenever you're ready, Ms. Marilyn. Code of ethics is also accessible to the board. And there within the code of ethics, you will find also agreements about how student council members should behave. So all of this, the rules of order should be evaluated to see how it's functioning and if need to address or not so much rewrite, but perhaps edit, then that's a possibility as well. Next slide. The sign-in process is definitely a required documentation for compliance monitoring. The CDE will be monitoring our meetings, and this is going to be a way of demonstrating that the student side council meetings are happening and then which actions we are taking as well. There is a sign-in template that we will provide you with, which you can continue using throughout the duration of the school side council meetings. Next slide. So within the agendas and the minutes, these are required documentations for compliance monitoring. They should be monitored by the LEA, which is the school staff. The templates help ensure all required topics are covered and required procedures are followed. We should definitely consider, so I'm going to go back to the fact that these documents are evidence. You need to show that the Student Side Council is fulfilling its responsibilities. And because of this is such a high level of importance, we do definitely need to consider who will be taking the minutes. And typically the secretary taking the minutes should reflect the voice of the Student Side Council members as well. Some of the minutes I want to just share with you what you could have, or what you will find in the template that we will provide you with. The minutes will contain the date, the place, and the time of the meeting, the roster of the person, the persons, the members, the officer title in attendance, the pertinent actions and information, all motions, whether adopted or rejected, the names of the person making the motion, the name of the person who is seconding the motion, points of the order and appeals, whether sustained or lost. During elections, the names of the nominees and the elections results should be recorded, the name of the secretary or recorder submitting minutes for the review, and then a few other items as well. I just needed to share a few other things out loud so you can start wrapping your mind and your brains around that as well. Next, next slide, Miss Marilyn, thank you. Some of the required agenda topics are here. So the CIPSA cycle of continuous improvement. This here will help us analyze we will analyze student achievement data. We will measure the effectiveness of the current strategies that we have in place. We will analyze the current implementation of instructional programs for ELA, for math, and other content areas. We will identify the goals and key improvements. We will define CIPSA timelines, personnel responsible, expenditures, and funding sources. We will review and approve proposed CIPSA, recommend to local governing board for approval. We will review implementation and evaluate effectiveness of planned activities, and we will definitely monitor the CIPSA implementation to make sure it's going. Next slide. Some more required agenda topics. The advisory committee's input. Some of the committees are specified right under that. Like the committees can include the ELAC, the APAC, and the Special Education Advisory Committee, if we have that. SSC training should be included as a required agenda topics. A draft or review of the bylaws is encouraged. School parent compact, parent and family engagement policy, school safety plan, and uniform complaint procedures as well. Next slide, please. To ensure compliance, what we need to know from this slide is that federal and state laws require the CDE, which is the California Department of Education, to monitor the implementation of these programs operated by the school. So the CDE will review the process, and then the School Side Council and the CIPSA are both the subjects of review. This is why it's important to keep accurate records and documentation of our meetings and the CIPSA process as well. Go ahead, next slide. With that being said, we will go ahead and talk about some of the identified improvement plans that could meet the requirements, if you want, which are the CSI and the ATSI in the CIPSA. We'll go ahead and hit the next slide so we can discuss those. We're almost at the end of this. So Ed Code 64001 allows for the school plans to serve as the school improvement plan for the schools. And so these are identified as the CSI, TSI, and ATSI, as long as the school improvement plans requirements are met. I want to say, yes, please, thank you. Oh yeah, you can go to the next one. So let's discuss those two. The CSI, which is the Comprehensive Support and Improvement Plan, you could find the documentation or the information on our dashboard. And so I think what we need to know between the two is that the fact the CSI only focuses around based around 1 year data. And so what we look at around based on 1 year data, how the schools are determined, the eligible schools are determined is by looking at two groups of schools, right? The graduation rate really doesn't apply to us. That's for high school. So we're going to focus on the top portion of this. And so the school is eligible if the schools that are eligible are the ones with all red, with all students. So if you look at the dashboard, this is almost difficult to explain. I'm a visual learner, so if I look at the dashboard, what you will see is the school, and it's going to break into different categories. And within those categories, they're categorized with colors, color-based. So red is usually, let's just say, not good. And so what the CDE looks at is they look at the red. So that's the alarming numbers. And so what they look at is lowest performing 5% of Title I schools. So red is always, I apologize. So red is a great indicator as to a school that, that will receive Title I funds. So the school with all red would be one that would be identified for comprehensive support and improvement. A school with all red, but one other color. So mostly red. Schools with 5 or more indicators, which means that the majority of the indicators are red, or schools with red and orange, which orange would be our second most crucial color to address. I'm going to say, yeah, go ahead and hit the next slide, please.
Can I ask a quick question?
Can we hold the questions to the end?
Sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Oh, you want to go ahead and ask, Dr. Minty?
I was just going to ask, are we a CSI school? Is Reach a CSI school?
We're not.
Thank you for asking that. Any other questions? Okay, let's go ahead and move on. That was an easy question to answer. Appreciate that. So how is the school identified for targeted support and improvement? Again, this is the ATSI. I want to say between the one that I just reviewed and this one, the one difference that we're going to note is that this one's based on 2 consecutive years versus the last one that was based on only 1 year of data. So again, looking at the board, we can look at all the student groups with all red, the student groups with all red but one indicator of another color, the student group with 5 or more indicators but the majority are red, or the student group with all red and orange as well. Okay, next slide. So although this the CDE subset template is not required, the subset template is good to look at because it informs us of what the federal requirements are. This will speak to the specifics of what needs to be included in our school plan. So for example, if we look at the components here within this slide, we will look at, we would need to conduct the comprehensive needs assessment, as we know.
So this would be for
of cost analysis.
Yes.
Sorry?
Yes, I think this is for the CSI and the ATSI school plan requirements, which we don't have to. Yeah, we don't need to
just not go over this
adhere to that.
Okay. So with that being said, yeah, this concludes our presentation as to what the requirements are for a student site council and bylaws, all kinds of information for you. I'm going to go ahead and turn the floor over to Dr. Renty.
So I do want to say that I do have good news. The school does all the heavy lifting for you, so don't freak out. So with regards to what you've heard today, which was the SIPSA, you heard a lot about. That is one thing that we are a Title I school, and over half of our kids are low income. And so we are required to create a school-wide plan. And so based on that. And so we will be presenting that data to you and asking you to approve our school-wide plan. One of the things that you will see from us this year is the LCAP. And again, the school does all the heavy lifting. We'll present the data to you. We'll present student achievement data. We'll go over our 3 primary goals and review the goals and just get your input. Let's see. The school safety plan, that's something that has to be approved every year. And so Mr. Rubin will come on, he will present that plan to the council. The council will get feedback, will incorporate that feedback, and then present it to our board. And so basically what you are is a body that helps us to stay in compliance. We will be seeking your input all year, your recommendations prior to seeking board approval, and all the acronyms and all the other stuff in the budgets and things like that. We'll bring it to the table. We'll present it to you. You'll provide feedback to us. We'll incorporate that feedback. We'll present it to our board. We want to be able to get parent input. So you're basically our eyes and ears. You're our ears to the ground. You're the body that allows us to hear from, our student group, our teachers, our students, and our parents. And so everything that you see here, just know that in terms of the Brown Act, the Roberts Rules of Orders, all those things like that, the school is going to walk you through each and every step of the process. We're going to keep you compliant. We'll do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. And what we want is to hear your voices and get feedback from you. So that being said, I'll go ahead and move on with our next agenda item. So as I'm pulling up my slides, does anyone have any questions so far? All righty. That being said, get to. So again, what I'm doing today is something that the chairperson will do starting at the next meeting. We finished reports, which was item 6. We're now moving on to item 7, which is the consent items. Now under the consent items, every month you will approve the prior meeting's minutes. Yes, correct. And so what you'll be required to do as a board is to make sure you've reviewed the minutes prior to the meeting. And then we will ask you if there are any changes that are recommended, if anything was missed, any revisions. If there are no revisions, you'll then approve those minutes, and then we'll move on to item 8, which is going to more than likely be action items. And so we do have some action items tonight, and so we're going to elect officers, and you're going to choose your logo, and then you're going to decide when your next meeting is, and then we're done. So moving on to action item 8 is the election of officers. So the council will conduct an election to determine chairperson. We did have a position for vice chair, but we did not get a nominee for that. A secretary, and the results will be disclosed during the meeting, which is today. And so we did have one person self-nominate for chair. We thought we had 2, but we didn't get their vitae in on time. And so we moved forward with what we had. And so I wanted to say that it is recommended that the committee elect Mr. Murillo, so Delfino Murillo, as the RSSC chairperson for the 2021 school year. And Ms. Marilyn, would you mind reading over his vitae, please?
Absolutely. So his vitae says, "My name is Delfino Murillo, and I'm anxious to be of your service. I would appreciate your consideration for the position of School Site Council Chair. I have chaired other similar organizations, such as another School Site Council, an ELAC committee, and most recently a political action committee with my union in Redlands. The team at REACH has already laid a great foundation on which we can build, and now must do our part to continue to construct for our community and specifically our students. As chair, I would be a liaison between families and staff, voicing the concerns of parents as well as seeking out the remedies and answers. The school site council has the potential to empower every REACH student so that they may construct and obtain their goals. Please allow me to help in that process.
So before we open up to comments and notes, do we have a motion to approve the election of Mr. Murillo?
I motion to approve.
Was that Genevieve Hokinson motions?
Yes. I'll second that, Jennifer Grobe.
And JG second. Any comments? Comments, questions? Before we move forward with the vote. Mr. Finley, are you typing and I just don't see it? You are? I don't know why I don't see it on my end. That's interesting. It's not really, we don't see it.
Oh, let me just refresh.
I put Grobe in there for you. Did you get the first motion?
Yeah, I did. Oh, it deleted it. Let me put it in now. All right, it's in now.
All right. So I didn't hear any comments or any notes. Well, let's move forward with the vote. And so Dr. Inti, I say aye.
Marilyn,
Aye.
Genevieve,
Aye.
Alvin,
Aye.
Carla,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Jennifer Grobe,
Aye.
Jennifer Hamilton,
Aye.
Brett,
Aye.
and then Delfino votes for himself. Yes.
Actually, I guess he would abstain.
Okay, abstain.
Abstain. Motion carries. So welcome to our chairperson, Mr. Murillo. We look forward to working with you. Fantastic. Yay. Fantastic. Moving
Thank you,
on. Yes, we're excited. Moving on to 8.2, which is the election of our first REACH School Site Council Secretary. Can you read us a blurb, a vitae on Miss Sanchez, Marilyn?
Yes. So Carla Sanchez has been teaching since 2011. She started teaching high school at a charter school in San Bernardino. She then joined REACH in its second year. This is Ms. Sanchez's 8th year at REACH, following the vision and directions of Dr. Renty. She has taught 3rd grade through 6th grade at REACH, primarily focusing in the area of math. She has a passion for teaching and leading our youth to be compassionate, resilient, and responsible citizens.
Whoop, whoop. Do we have a motion to approve Ms. Carla Sanchez as our RSSC
I
Secretary?
motion to approve.
All right, who
Brett
is that?
McIntosh.
Okay, that's BM. And do we have a second?
I second that motion.
All right, that's,
John.
what did I hear?
That was
Alvin?
John.
Oh,
Alvin.
okay.
No?
All right, any comments? Comments? All right, roll call. Dr. Renty, yes?
Marilyn,
Aye.
Genevieve,
Aye.
Alvin,
Aye.
Carla abstain. John,
Aye.
Jennifer,
Aye.
What-
Sorry.
Hamilton,
Aye.
Brett,
Aye.
and Delfino.
Aye.
Woohoo, motion carries. I guess we could have put him, in hindsight, we should have put them in the waiting room, but we were so excited to get these votes in. So next time. Fantastic. Motion carries. Welcome Carla Sanchez as our council secretary. Yay. Fantastic. All right. So your next item of business, and then we're done, is you're going to vote on a logo. How about that? And so there is a logo courtesy of our amazing Rachel Staylor, who is she's our programs coordinator, but she does so much more. And so we have 3 logos, and so I will show you here. So you'll be voting on A, B, C, or D. And so here's, with the Sun Roots REACH School Site Council, that is logo A. To your right at the top is logo B. Logo C in the left-hand bottom corner. And then D would be in the bottom corner to your right. So once again, you'll be voting on A, B, C, or D. Get one in your head.
We are going to go one at a time. So you're just going to say I and A for A, B, C, or D as we go through. We're going to start with A. So get your thoughts ready.
So what's your logo going to be? So if you're thinking B is your choice, you're going to vote no on everything else, right? All righty. All right. So let's say, do we have a motion?
Can we,
Oh, go ahead.
can we see the logos on the screen as we vote? Or no?
We can while you are, yes, absolutely.
I motion to vote.
Was that Genevieve?
Yes.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Any comments? Questions, concerns? All right, here's A. If you're in favor of A, then you will be saying yay. If not, it is a nay. So starting off with myself, that's a hard one. I'm gonna say nay.
Marilyn,
Nay.
Genevieve,
Nay.
Alvin,
I'm torn. I'm gonna go with nay.
Carla,
Nay.
John,
Nay.
who knows? Jennifer G,
Nay.
Jennifer H,
Nay.
Brad,
Nay.
Delphino.
Nay.
Okay, I guess it's not option A. What we say, motion what?
I don't even know. I'll figure it out.
Okay, let's go down to option B. Dr.
All right. Option B. Now here's where I feel like I'm going to be in the minority here, but I'm torn between B and C, but I'm going to vote yay for an A. Would I for B? Give me a yes on that one.
Okay.
Marilyn.
Nay.
Genevieve,
Aye.
Alvin,
Nay.
Carla,
Sorry, Dr. Enti, nay.
John, what about you?
I'm following pursuit. Nay.
Jennifer G.
Nay.
I wish I could have voted. Jennifer H.
Nay.
Brad,
Nay.
Delphino.
Nay. It's not letting me do it. I'm sorry. Nay.
How dang it. All right.
All righty, let's go to option C. If I could have voted, I would have.
All right. I guess I'll give in to the crowd. I'll give in to peer pressure. I bet you guys are looking at C, right?
Maybe.
All right. Well, I mean,
Right.
I guess, go ahead.
That's Nate for you here, right?
Well, I mean, I guess I can change my mind. I didn't my first one. You said I can't?
No.
Fine. Okay. Why can't I? Can I buy? It's just majority vote. All right. Okay. I'll say nay.
Marilyn,
I'm gonna say yay.
Genevieve,
Definite nay.
She said definite.
Alvin,
Yay.
Carla,
This is the hardest part. Okay, I like this one, but I wish it had the Reach logo on it. That's why I like the tree one, because it has the Reach logo, but this one doesn't look so nice. Can we add the Reach logo on the left-hand side?
Yeah. So you're saying
Is
yay,
that a possibility?
yay with the logo. So let's say yay with the logo. So let's see how Rachel can incorporate the logo. All right.
Yeah, then I'll go with yay. But I love the tree too. I'm sorry, guys. I'm taking up time. I'll go with yay. Yay.
John, what are you thinking?
I'm a yay for that one, but that was entertaining.
Jennifer G, what are your thoughts?
That's the one I like. Yay, please.
Okay, yay. Jennifer H, what about you?
Definite yay.
I like the definite. Brad, what are you thinking?
Nay.
And Delphino.
I'll say yay if we can add the words definite nay underneath it. But short of that, I'm going to say nay.
So you said nay?
Wait, he said nay or yay?
I said nay, unless we added the words definite nay. then I would say yay. But no, I'm going for D. I'm going for D.
Oh, he's going for D. Oh boy.
Well, y'all know we already have the results, right?
Do we? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess we could. Okay.
All
We'll
right,
see what
remember you can
happens.
only vote one time. Okay,
We
D.
can modify if you guys want to, so we can blend. But let's do it. Okay, let's go for D. Here we go. For me, it's a nay.
Marilyn.
This was actually like my second choice, but I'm going to say nay.
Well, so just to be sure, if you said yay or a or whatever that thing is already, you can say it again right now, right? So you
Why? Is there something in our like something in the procedures that says we can't do?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be whichever the majority wins, right? So I say you can vote for however many you want. Just pick your best.
I say nay.
Who's that?
Marilyn.
Marilyn said no? Okay.
Genevieve.
Yay.
Alvin.
Nay.
Carla.
This is my second choice, but I'm going to stick with the C, so nay.
John.
Nay.
It's Jennifer G.
That was also my second choice, but nay.
Jennifer H.
Nay.
Brett.
Yay.
Delphino.
Yay.
All right.
Oh.
Our winner is. That's not. Let me get my totals together. Option. Drum roll, please. Option C. Yeah.
All right. So, okay, so C's the winner. If you want some kind of modifications, let's put some notes. Is there something you want to add? I heard Carla say the logo, but people they were split between the tree and the other thing. Should I have Rachel go to the drawing board and do a compilation or no? Combine the two and come back next time?
It's worth trying. We can always stick with this vote if we
Unless
don't like it.
unless people are like, we love it, we'll just stick with C. Do we care?
I would like to see some combination.
Okay.
I agree, combination.
All right, let's try to combine the two. Why don't we ask Rachel to combine the two and see what she can come up with? But we need the logo in there.
Rachel's not usually busy, right?
Brett says I agree. She likes the tree. It shows growth.
They like the tree and the growth.
We
Yeah.
could- that
Well,
red
okay, we'll bring that to the next table. What'd you say? What'd you say, Marcus?
Remove the red thing from C and put the tree hanging at the side there, behind the R.
She's so creative. Let's see. All right, we'll bring some other stuff back, but thank you for that. That was actually fun. All right, so moving on. So right now it looks like we had almost a split there, and we'll come back with a combination. Thank you for that. And as we round the table corner here, we're moving on to action item 9. Any board comments to our board members, which all of you all are. We have one visitor. Any comments?
Before we adjourn, are we supposed to set a new date and time for next time, or is that something we do separately?
Yeah, that's coming up next. And then what I will say to that, so I don't hear any comments, we're going to move on to action item 9, which is adjournment. And then you'll see at the bottom of the adjournment, it has next board meeting. What's going to happen at your next board meeting is you will create a calendar of your meeting dates and times. And then we will present you, with a bylaws template, and then you'll decide on your bylaws at that moment and identify things like how often you will meet and your quorum, etc. And then we'll present another 2 more logos, and you can decide on those then. And any other items that the board president decides to add to the agenda. If we come up with anything else, we'll let you know. So I'm going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting, and then we can decide when the next board meeting date will be. If you all want to pull out your calendars, we're assuming it's going to be hopefully in January. I will say that we do need a meeting in February to approve the safety plan. So the safety plan will be presented in February. Marilyn, can you definitely make sure Ruben is aware and ready to go with that? And so if you'd like to meet, just our next meeting could be in February so that you can also approve the safety plan, or you can meet January, get the board minutes out of the board, a few board items out of the way, meet again in February to approve the safety plan, and then probably at least in May but we can talk about that so that you can approve like the LCAP and things like that. So
Can I
that being
ask
said,
a quick
yes,
question?
yeah, go for it.
So I know it was kind of my fault. I kind of expressed interest in the chair and vice chair position, but it was a whirlwind with work and stuff this week, so I didn't get my description in time. Is there a way that I can still do it and then vote for the next meeting for the vice chair position, or is it just going to be like a closed position now?
No, I was going to
say, why,
put it
what
on
do you
the
guys
agenda
think?
as an action item.
Say it again.
I was going to suggest to put on the next agenda as an action item to fill that position.
There we go. So
That'd be awesome.
fantastic. Will you go ahead and get that information to us? We'd be happy to do that. Thank you.
Okay.
That's our board president stepping up. Our board chair. Fantastic. All right. So Mr. Chairperson, let's send what do you all think in terms of next meeting? Shall we look at January potentially?
Yeah, I think January is important.
Okay. Yeah, and then so Marilyn will get with you to make sure we have your vitae, and then we'll vote on that next time. And then we met. This is Thursday, and this is the second Thursday of the month. Do you all want to keep with Thursday, second Thursday of the month? Do you like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock? Completely up to you. What do you all say?
I prefer an earlier time if
at
possible.
5.
Did I hear earlier 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
Can we
Yeah,
compromise
earlier.
in between?
Say it again.
Can we compromise in between?
5:30.
I hate to do this to you guys. I work until 5, and I don't usually get home until like 6:30.
Oh.
I'm with him.
So
Just
6 o'clock.
I want to shoot for 5:30. I might be able to work something out with my supervisor at work. Maybe that one day a month I go in a little bit earlier and get out a little bit earlier. We can shoot for 5:30. I think that would be okay.
Is that majority consent, or do we need to keep it at 6?
Sorry, I personally like 6 also. Sorry. I'm
6 o'clock?
yeah, with school and as a mom, I got to make dinner and get things set. 6 o'clock's a little easier.
So 6 o'clock easier. Is it
I
okay if
just
we
want to push people too much on the first day.
So so what do we say? We want to keep it at 6 o'clock for now?
I like 6 as well.
6 o'clock?
Yeah.
Especially
All
when
right.
it's virtual.
Yeah. So you can get all of the other things out of the way. So we'll keep it at 6. What do you all think about Thursdays and either the 14th? I'm looking at the 21st.
I think the 14th would be good.
Does that work
6
for
o'clock is
everyone?
my vote.
14th at
agree.
6?
Yeah.
Is that good? All right. Fantastic. All right. So it looks like the next meeting is Thursday, January 14th at 6 o'clock p.m. It should be a pretty quick meeting. Again, I don't think it should. We'll try to get the meetings to last like, maybe about an hour, which not too bad. We did an hour and 15 tonight. It should be a pretty straightforward meeting. And then Mr. Murillo, you'll be working with Marilyn to create that agenda, and we'll have it posted for you all 72 hours advance notice. If there are any meeting materials and things like that for you to review, it will be attached and sent to all of you. So the agenda will be sent to you all via email, probably by Tuesday at 6 p.m. at the very latest. So that is our posting date and time. Any questions, comments?
I have a question, Dr. NT.
Yeah.
So did I hear correctly that the safety plan would also be an action item for the January meeting?
I don't think it's going to be ready before February.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. I was just saying, if you can let Ruben know to start working on that and make sure it's ready for February.
Okay.
But that could be, again, that would be a very quick meeting. We would just present that, go over the safety plan. You would provide your input and then open and close that meeting. And then he'll present that to the board after you've approved it. Okay. We'll just walk you through step by step. Ms. Avila, we're so glad you're here. We definitely want your input and participation, so thank you.
Thank you.
To all of our council members, we're so excited to have you, and we don't want to take up too much more of your time. We thank you for your time and attention. Congratulations to our new chair and our new secretary, and then we look forward to electing a vice chair next time. Yay. If that's okay with you, Mr. Chairman, we're going to go ahead and end the meeting. Are we good?
Great.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you later. Bye.
Everyone.
Bye. I was trying to hit some music on your way out. Probably already gone.